Hey, what's going on, everyone? Joe Menza here with another watercolor painting video. Thank you for joining me. This time I decided to go outside on my deck and do a little painting. The lighting is definitely better. I've got some 10 by 14. This is 100% cotton paper. And I'm going to start doing the next couple of videos here, including this one, are going to be doing some different things with skies. I had some comments recently that when you get tired of seeing the blue skies and the normal clouds and stuff like that. So this first one we're going to do, I'm just applying some water here. We're going to do almost sort of an earth tone type sky. Some brown and some yellow here. This is yellow ochre with a little raw sienna mixed in together. We're just going to sort of start setting the stage here, getting a little bit darker and adding a little bit of burnt umber to that. So we're just going to lay that on there and try to keep some light down the center. So coming in with the burnt umber, I didn't clean the brush, by the way, that's just whatever's on there. So I've added some burnt umber into the mix. And with the yellow underneath, you almost kind of get a golden sky once it dries back a little bit. Now I've added a little bit of Payne's gray. So while it's an unusual color for a sky, it can really have a dramatic effect. I've added a little bit of reddish, little Alizarin crimson to the mix, just to redden that up a little bit. And I'm going to just start laying what's on the brush down into the bottom for the reflective nature of the clouds that we just laid in. Same colors in the brush, still haven't really washed the brush. And we're going to try to keep that center section open, go a little wider with it because spaces you leave open tend to get narrower as you go. So you can see that area, how bright now it appears to the, how bright it appears to the eye. So now I've switched over to the medium small Hake, or Hake brush for those of you who want an exact pronunciation. So now we're going to put this division in here of these mountains. Now this is the same colors, same color scheme, but a little bit darker. And I go a little bit darker when I'm making mountains if I plan on doing a little scraping, because they're going to look really, the contrast is really going to be there. So again, trying to leave some light underneath. We're going to have the mountains on, or the light above the mountains, and then the light on the water below. So here I am, I'm taking my card, and I'm just scraping in some just trying to keep that pattern going. This card here, you'll notice it's making some sort of skinny scrapes. It's just the nature of the card. Not all cards are alike. Sometimes you run into one with a really smooth edge. I don't know, maybe you could sand that down a little bit and get a really nice edge, but Some cards are better than others than that. So I've come in with some darker, I added a little bit of Payne's gray on there, and gave it a little blast with the spray bottle, just to add a little bit of texture and to keep that area open a little bit more. And you see little blasts of mist, I'm just spraying off camera there. So now I'm darkening up a little bit of a landmass here, using the same colors, just to get that contrast of light. And a little bit here. I'm just making this up as I go along. Really, the more of the point was the sky and the earth tone type colors, but of course, to make the sky look as realistic or as dramatic as possible, you need the foreground area. So I'm just going to go ahead and darken that up a little bit. And I feel that these type of paintings work better when you stay within the family of colors. In other words, most of what we're using is burnt umber, a couple of different yellows, maybe a raw sienna, a yellow ochre, and Payne's gray, and a little bit of ultramarine blue can be worked in to make the brown a deeper brown color. So those are really all the colors being used here. So in a sense, it's a limited palette in one sense. A minimized palette, let's call it that. So doing a little bit of scraping there. So like I said, one type of sky. Next couple of videos will vary up to sky with a couple of different other techniques. This being the simplest. This is almost the same way we'd approach a blue sky, but with more earthy tone colors. I'm just popping in a couple of birds here, and this one here, we're going to call it done. We're going to keep it very minimalistic. Popping in a couple of birds with my Micron pen. I'm outside here using my Gorilla thumb box with my expansion piece on there, so I go 10 by 14. There's enough weight in the box so that it doesn't tip over. So finally here, I don't know, to add a little bit of some kind of interest here, I'm just going to lift out a little bit here. I'm going to create like a little sailboat maybe nearby the mountain area. It's not really necessary, but just to show a little bit of lifting here. You can also take 2 pieces of paper at opposite angles and kind of rub that out, but this works too as long as you can paint a triangle. Then you can definitely do that. So I'm just putting in a little bit of the bottom of the boat. It's probably a little too dark. I don't want that to stand out too much. In reality, I think the whole bottom as this is drying, this whole painting could probably use just a little bit more dark toward the base of the mountains here. Or large hills, depending on where you're from. People from the Rocky Mountain area go, those ain't mountains. You're from the Midwest. Anything over 20 feet is a mountain to us. All us flatlanders. I love mountains, though, and I love mountain paintings. I've visited a lot of areas. Eventually, I will probably move to a mountain area. And it's my ultimate goal. And just go outside and paint them directly to the mountains every day. Just putting a little second sail on this. This is probably the most detail in this whole painting. So if this doesn't interest you, feel free to skip to the end and see the matted or framed version. Just lifting a little of that out. I think I went a little too dark on the bottom of the boat. This is why I refrain from doing any sort of details, because it's where I start to fuss. It doesn't look real to me. I start thinking, maybe I shouldn't even have put that in there. I should have just left well enough alone, but it's okay. It's part of the process, and it shows you guys a little bit what, if you do something, don't be hard on yourself, though, for sure. I mean, I see people post stuff all the time. I really tried. I made a mess of it. No, it just didn't turn out the way your goal was or what you saw in your mind. And I don't know, fate had a different idea. So just as you go along, with the process, paintings will turn out more and more like you intended. But even the best artists, they don't always, their paintings surprise even them as they're going along. They kind of let the wind blow a certain direction. You have to allow for that. So don't be too hard on yourself. So as you can see, I'm adding these little darker areas, and after it dries, sometimes you can see things get flat and you want to add a little bit more darker shades. As long as you've saved that for the end, that's all good. And I'm making my own job harder here just by using a rigger brush to try to put that in. It's fun, though. If you're doing details and you're having fun with it and you don't feel like you're struggling or it's tedious, by all means, put in as many as you want. My idea is I like to do calming, peaceful, some dramatic elements to it, but it has a relaxing quality to it. When I'm painting, I'm relaxed. Some people want to paint their emotions. Me, it's like I am painting my emotion, but I'm painting emotions that I enjoy. Some people may find art as an outlet for other emotions, but that's why I've always wanted to do landscapes. It's just, there's no real imperfection in nature in a sense. It just is, So that's about it. We're closing in on the end. I hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos. We're going to do a couple more skies in a couple different ways. And hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, I'm on Patreon now, so if you want to come over there and see some other types of videos. Here's the zoom in. You can see the birds and little spatters of water that happened, and that's all good. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, always open to that. And here's your virtual frame. Thank you once again, everyone, for watching. Have a wonderful day.